All right, so we're working on the tow rig again today, our '09 Chevy Express van. And the other day I went to my buddy's house. We used his lift, got it up in the air, replaced, well, before we put it in the air, we replaced the accessory belt, found out the belt tensioner was bad, and what else did we do? We were gonna do an oil change. The oil was still good, so I didn't really do anything. But the main thing is we finally added some seats in this thing, in the back. So that is actually a third row seat out of a 2001 Chevy Suburban. We've got actually hooked into the floor properly and safe, and it's removable still. So the cool thing is we made the seat actually function like it's supposed to. On a Suburban, you pull handle number whatever that is here, flip the seat forward, and down here to number 2, you can grab onto it and flip it up, and they all come disconnected. These are actually 7/16 U-bolts from a trailer, which are actually thicker than the bolts on the Suburban that initially held the seat down. We were able to use all 5 mounts, and it's nice and secure and solid. Got our lock down in there. Just double check I flip this lock over here on the right side, which appears as though it is attached good, so we're good there. And we can pull the handle, flip the seat up. So we're good there. I'm 6'4", and I can sit back here stretched out, and we still have enough room in the back to put like a 4-wheeler with the seat flipped forward, or a dirt bike in here with the seat down. But my main order of business today is to remove this panel here. As nice it is to have these flip open panels on the side of the van, it'd be kind of nice to have some windows in here. So I'll take you on the outside of the van and show you what we're looking at. So we meander over to the passenger side of the van, or driver's side of the van, and you can see how this is set up. There's still the pinch weld here where the glass would go, and here there's actually the holes in the body for the factory swing out window. I actually got a couple pieces of glass from the junkyard. I'm hoping fit. So before I take seals off and all that fun stuff, I'm gonna take these 3 bolts loose here and the 3 bolts here loose, and disconnect power to this light here. Just leave it on this panel for now, and disconnect the shock absorbers. Take the panel off the van, and we'll test fit the glass to see if it works, because it'd be kind of nice to have some windows back here. I do plan on leaving this panel in here and that panel over there, because it's just nice to have some airflow if you're just parked. But I also do want to build in some shelving in there so I can put my straps and things like that. So we'll grab some tools, get this unbolted, and see what we find out with this junkyard glass I got. Well, I screwed up and left the key on, drained the battery, so I had to hook to the van. But a little shot of the Cosby sauce, and she fired right up. Now let it warm up a little bit. We did lose some transmission fluid while it was been sitting. Top it off and take her for a little drive. Man, I gotta do something with this truck like ASAP. Drives too damn good. If I could just fix this cab or put something else on it. Still think the Plastivet needs to happen or something. I gotta get the van fixed and then get over to David's house and get that Vet body. That'd be kind of fun, like a Vet funny car with the Ram engine in it still. All right, after a little finagling, I got that panel out. It wasn't actually that bad by myself. If I have to put it back on, what I'll do is I'll just clip the latches in, slip those arms back in, and just lightly do the 6 bolts here. Bumblebee, get out of the van. I don't know why you're even going in there. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna shut the plaster ram down. I got the idling across the way, and we'll dig for our used glass we got. All right, so good news. The 2 junkyard windows I got from a regular passenger van fit perfectly on here. The only thing I'm actually missing is the latch for this one. It has the holes in the body there and there for the hinges, but I don't really care if they actually open. And these latches are really common to break. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna actually glue these in so they're stationary, but it actually looks pretty good. See if I can zoom out far enough you guys can see this a little better. But yeah, I'm happy with that. And so the tape's just on there temporarily holding everything in place. I wanted to make sure it would fit before I actually started gluing and putting them in. And I got my answer, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull those out, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do to prep the body for the glue to stick onto, since there's no old bedding for the glue. And actually, let's see what it looks like from the inside. Kind of cool. I gotta tint this window still, and this one. These one's actually tinted darker. This one is not, but what I want to do is I want to put limo tint on this one, and on the other side. So maybe a further project, we're gonna learn how to tint windows. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Be able to see outside while you're driving, have a little bit of daylight in there. It's really dark out, and it actually acts as another way to have some better vision when you're driving. I'm out this side over here, so you're not completely blind on corners. All right, so what I did to get this prepped for the glass to go in is I actually trimmed the flap off the weather seal here, just so I can keep this around the rough edges of the body, so if anybody rests their arm up here, it's not gonna get cut up. You can kind of see on the camera here how it's a little bit dull here as compared to the shiny paint here and over here. It's because I used a scuffy pad and a wire brush, and I scratched into the clear coat a little bit, so I could put my primer down around the perimeter where the glue bead is gonna go on the van, so that we can glue those windows in. Like I said, this window here is a hinged part, but I'm not going to use the hinge setup in the back. I'll just put the hinge pieces through the holes just to keep them in place there, and then glue the stationary front one in place. They do make movable ones that will be on hinges sort of like this a little, and they just flip out at the bottom here, and some of them are hinged to come out in the back as well. But I decided to not go with that in these because I've had to deal with them before, and like I said, the hinges break. So I'm gonna grab some primer, prime this, and pick you guys back up so you can see where I've primed. All right, so what I did was I ran my primer for my urethane. All urethanes have specific primers to them, so make sure if you are doing something like this, you have a specific primer for the urethane so it can stick. Some urethanes are primerless where they don't require this. This is a primer specific urethane for a good bond to the body. There also is a primer slash activator for the glass portion. You also have to use to ensure a good seal. So I got that done on both of these, just around the perimeter of those seals to kind of keep the glue close and not really oozing out at the bottom once everything is in. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the activator on the glass and start gluing this. If I can find my tripod here in a second, I will have you guys watch me do that. All right, so even though I've actually washed this window twice, you can kind of see my fingerprints that were on there. And this activator stuff right here actually helps etch the glass itself. As you can see here, it will kind of clean up once it's flashed off or dried. I'm just going around the whole perimeter. It's better to do too much than not enough on here. Like I said, this is not normally the way you put this panel in, but since I'm not planning on it ever opening, it works for me, for my needs. Just gonna etch all this here. That way we get a good bond and everything is stuck. I can wipe this extra off once it's in the van on the inside. It's not gonna be too hard to get to. I gotta prep the other one real quick and then grab glue and stick them on the van. So the glue I'm using is heated up, so I'm gonna actually glue both these spots here for the windows to go in. And once I get that done, I'll set both of them in at the same time. You can do one at a time if you have a different kind of glue, but since this is heated and it's about 90 degrees outside still, it's gonna stay warm for quite a while, which gives me about 5 to 10 minutes of work time before it skins over. All right, and there you go. We got both windows glued in the van, all set up. I did run a little bit of a seal bead around the perimeter of it just to keep any kind of possible water out. Kind of like on a flush glaze motorhome. You see that a lot of times in those, the side windows, they flush glaze them just so there's no chance of a leak. I'm gonna get a plug for right there where the hinge goes, and we should be all set to go. I'll walk around the back here and kind of see what it looks like on the inside now from the back. Looks pretty good. We'll get those latches unbolted from the ceiling later. And yeah, now I got some nice windows in there. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to answer them for you. Otherwise, thank you for watching and see you on the next one.